All right, welcome back to our Q Weekly Chat. I'm Willie Pawlev at the Halifax Herald, joined by Jeremy Fraser at the Cape Breton Post. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. How are you, Willie?
Good, good. And yeah, of course, Jason Malloy, as usual, with the Charlottetown Guardian. How are you, Jason?
Great, thanks.
Wanted to talk to you first. A little player movement, let's call it, with the Islanders. Adam Marsh not with the team at the moment for some personal reasons.
Yeah, the announcement came down last week. Not a whole lot of information exactly why he's left the team, other than the team is being very supportive of him and hope to have him back in the lineup when he's ready to return. Obviously, a big loss for them when you only get three overage players. He's one of them. A guy that gives them a little bit of everything on that, one or two, 1A or 1B line. Gives you some grit, some size, some scoring. Goes to the hard areas, and he's been around in the league a few years now. So, a guy that's gonna, they're gonna miss in the lineup. But it's like this whole team, every time you think, well, they're gonna take a step back now, and they just keep on motoring. They're gonna have to, shore up some things on the defense to be a little bit tighter because the goals aren't going to be as easy to come by. But they're lucky to have a key piece in Matthew Welsh, who's just been outstanding for them this year. When a lot of people counted them out from the start.
Yeah, well, here in Nova Scotia, I got a look at Halifax against Cape Breton. Not the greatest game for the first 20, 30 minutes, but then it really heated up. Teams were trading goals. One guy that caught my eye was Brooklyn Kalmakov. He had a hat trick here in Halifax, and I noticed his stats, probably the last 4 or 5 games, Jeremy, have really picked up.
Yeah, he's certainly the first round pick that the Screaming Eagles were hoping to get. And of course, he has 6 goals and 7 assists so far this season. But the last couple of games, he seems to be taking his play to the next level and showing why he's a first round pick in the QMJHL. I mean, there's another rookie you can touch on too, is Ryan Francis from Halifax, 2nd round draft pick. He's another guy that's played well all season. A guy that has surprised a lot of fans here in Cape Breton, and a guy that a lot of fans are looking forward to seeing as he progresses in his junior career. I mean, he has 8 goals and 6 assists. He's also playing at times on the top line with Drake Batherson and not looking out of place. So lots of promise when it comes to rookies on the Screaming Eagles this season.
Yeah, you mentioned Francis. He was playing with Drake Batherson here in Halifax, and he got drafted in the 20 or 25 range, if I'm right. Thinking back this year, just in the top of the 2nd round, and probably because he's not a big guy. But the positives from that is, those shorter guys don't get as many looks from the NHL, so he might be a 5-year player. And of course, speaking of that, the Monctonian was just on. It's the big scouting event of the Atlantic Fall, I suppose you'll put it. So everybody's sort of getting their list prepared, checking out the best prospects. I don't know if you guys heard of any top players from your regions coming up through the ranks?
Nothing specifically at this point. Usually we start to hear that a little bit after Christmas as everyone starts to get a 2nd, 3rd, 4th look on some of these young kids.
Yeah, and as we all follow the rest of the league, the other big news coming out was the trade of Vitaly Abramov going from Gatineau to Victoriaville. Kind of a reaction, I suppose, to German Rubtsov going from Chicoutimi to Bathurst. So get your reaction first, Jason, on what you think that's going to do around the league.
Yeah, nice to see some of the teams getting some of that Christmas shopping done early this year, where they're able to with some of the Euros or overage players. I think this year that the league is wide open, and that's why we're going to see, it's going to take another probably 2 weeks before we have a even clearer indication, maybe even 3 or 4 weeks before we have a clear indication who's buying, who's selling.
Yeah, and Jeremy, at least from my point of view, Bathurst and Victoriaville probably went in as 2 of the top preseason contenders, but spun their wheels. So what does that tell you about those 2 moves and how that changes, the overall complexion?
Well, touching on it last week with the German Rubasev deal to Bathurst, that kind of set the tone. We were talking about that and kind of showed where the league was going this trade period. And of course, mentioning the Abramov deal that just happened during the Canada-Russia series, that kind of just adds more fuel to the fire. It's looking like teams are getting these deals done now and quick when it comes to Europeans. I mean, what's left
is there going to be anything left for us to talk about come the trade period at Christmas time? I mean, of course there will be, but them two teams going out to get them players are big acquisitions for their teams.
Yes, for sure. So right on. It looks like we're out of time. Thanks for joining me again, guys. Jason over in Charlottetown and Jeremy up in Sydney. Have a good one.
You too.
You too.